Well, let's go ahead and get ourselves back into it. I know it's been a while for you and it's been a while for me, so let's see if we can't get ourselves recapped into what's been going on so far. So, a little recap after our small month of a hiatus. Dear Jesus.
Yep.
But our beloved and intrepid adventuring party find themselves not only once again under the service of our dear Lord Brokenridge, having found themselves traveling north, south, east, and west, and now even across the sea to try and find themselves to the nearest edition of their quest, apparently to the edges of which to stop a small maiden voyage of a drow that seems to be under the pretext of raiding some ancient temple and causing unbeknownst damage on an unknowable scale. No pressure, right? In doing so, our party has pretty much found themselves upon the frozen waste of what seems to be the northernmost territory known as the Trovlian Brigade. Within the brigade are fields of ice, snow, and monsters alike, having found themselves not only some small dividends, having met a queen, or at least the what would only be surmounted as a tyrant known as Gedron. In doing so, they found themselves some information. Perhaps not the best, but they've been given some. As we pick ourselves up where we last left off with our beleaguered adventurers, we do so just as they manage to gather themselves up and have headed back into the underground tunnels, that of which have saved them from the cold depths of the fields above and the creatures that roam through them, now perhaps running through what seems to have been a small ambushing party of drow. After finally killing them, our party will pick up there, as you stand in the midst of a destroyed caravan where the bodies are missing. However, the fresh corpses of drow currently decorate, as right now, it seems combat is settling out as the fading away darkness gives way to the rest of the tunnels the other drow retreat. But I will open the floor there for you guys.
I'm back. I sorted out the body.
You're good. So.
Is the server also on?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Is everyone looking alright-ish?
Pierre looks like he got a couple of good cuts into him. Everybody's looking okay. I mean, looking hurt from Niram. Niram got a couple of good cuts in, but other than that, most everybody seems all right.
Oh, wait, I remember. Well, got fucked up.
Yeah, Volus got fucked up, but everybody else is fucked.
Okay, so no one of consequence.
Oh my god!
I'm joking.
Oh geez, that's the wrong scene. Did not know that was active. Ah well. Guess they got a glimpse of me.
Ta-da!
Yeah. I'm just not too presentable right now, so that's kind of I mean, I've had. Oh, perfect. Yeah, right. Sorry. I've had my I've had streams with webcam on. I'm just like not in the mood for it right now.
No, I know.
And during D&D, especially not, because it feels like weird. Because if you can only see my reactions and no one else's, it seems kind of off.
I could put my camera up if you wanted to.
No. Don't feel pressured into doing that. I'm just saying it. Like the reason why I don't turn mine on during D&D.
I'm not feeling pressured to do it. I'm happy to turn my camera on.
No. It would be such a hassle to freaking.
He's not in the mood. He's not in the mood. Leave him alone.
It's that like and also like leave him alone. Freaking like imagine having to brew that up in a minute. Like making a competent layout out of that. Hell, absolute hell.
But no, getting back into it. Let's rein it back in. You guys still underground in the cave, just dealt with the drow. You have fresh loot, but at the moment you currently see Pierre is actually going over one of the corpses of the drow and is currently just stabbing it over and over. Like, the only real picture in your head I could give you is like Wesley with the rodent of unusual size, when he's just stabbing it over and over.
This one's actually dead.
Thanks, OBS. Lovely. I'm sorry. Just a bit of technical hiccups in the background.
Nope, you're good.
For some reason, I decided to switch scenes momentarily again. Got all of this program.
Who looks kind of the most hurt right now?
Definitely Vientus. Vientus really got his shit.
Who the fuck is Vientus?
Who the
fuck's
fuck
sake.
is Vientus? It's
been a month. Fuck you. But no, Vullis. Sorry, Vullis got his shit kicked in.
Zorm's gonna walk over and he'll cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level on him. I just need to make sure I know the spell.
Go ahead and roll your healing damage. I believe you'd be rolling 2d8.
Let me double check that. You'd think by now I would know the spell off the top of my head.
Well, you probably would, but it's been a month, so we'll
it's
give it some time.
Plus spell casting modifier.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your healing damage.
So that is first roll 5 plus 7 plus an additional 8. So 16. 20 points of healing.
Oh, not bad at all. So, as you go ahead and put your hands down onto Vullis, your wounds start slowly sealing up and eventually pushing out little scrapes of metal that were left behind by some of the relatively, shall we say, painful blades.
Thank you.
Not really the nicest thing to have, but you know what? Better than kind of bleeding out.
Eventually, once Pierre is done stabbing this corpse, and now looks like an empty pincushion that is bleeding purplish red blood out all over the floor. Do not forget to take their ears. They go for a high bounty and pay very well. And go over and you see him take another swig from his ale cup.
Alright then.
If you say so. And
I mean, how filled is the tankard that we got?
Well,
the barrel.
The cask that you have is still pretty full. I mean, you guys have only been traveling for roughly about a day and a half.
I might borrow that jug after it's empty.
Okay.
Do you mean the casket, or do you mean the stein?
The casket.
Oh, okay. Wait, cask, not casket.
What a fucking German response. What a fucking German response. Are you talking about the casket or the stein?
Well, I'm sorry.
Listen. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Fine. Keep your secrets.
What secrets? I don't even drink that much.
No, I was going off.
I know.
What Ubi said.
Don't worry about the 1 liter pint that I have behind me.
Great. I guess.
Yes.
Velis will just go over towards some of the corpses and I guess loot them or take their ears.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a basic investigation check, just making sure you check all the cracks and crevices within the gear. Anybody else want to do anything as this is going on, or is everybody just pretty much running security?
One of two things. I'm going to do two things here. First, I'm going to go over to near him and kind of just. Are you? How full is your cast right now?
I mean,
Pierre would look over at you and currently see there's a long gash that goes down the side of his face from one of these drow swords, and you see his torso is pockmarked with the blade as well. I mean, he looks like a bleeding hero, but it's actually a pretty impressive sight.
Sorry, just short thing.
Yeah.
Think that Pierre might need a tad more help than me. I'm doing pretty fine.
All right.
Also,
you ask this, Zorm, and he just sticks the tankard out to you and shakes it.
Yeah, just never picks up the cask and just goes, "All right." Probably works better than any healing potion ever would. Just fills it up.
Go ahead and dump more into his stein. It was already about half full, so you don't need to worry too much about it. So you eventually close the spigot once again, and he just goes over and starts drinking heavily. But you see, almost skillfully, like he's done this before, he takes the small rapier-like sword that he has, and he actually pokes it into one of the hips of the drow, and it seems like he snaps what looks to be a little, almost sprig of leather, and you see a little coin pouch fall out onto the floor. And he puts his sword through the loop and picks it up, and he jingles it around. And it seems like he's counting in his head how many coin are in it. And then he just uses it, slides the top of the bag over his stein, and then puts his sword away, and then grabs the bag and counts it out with his hand.
I guess, and then Zorn's gonna kind of go and kind of help Vientus loot the bodies.
Okay, so as that's going on, Volus, sorry. Look, 2 V characters and it's been a month. Give me a damn minute.
I will haunt you with this for the rest of your days.
Go fuck yourself. But Volus, as you're going over the corpses, you find over the 3 corpses you're able to get, you find just about 12 pieces of gold, 16 silvers that seem to have what look to be imprinted pictures of spiders. It looks like these were actually forged by the drow. The gold looks like human gold.
Okay, hold up. Let me just add that bit in.
It's a minor thing, but
I know. It's just interesting trinkets.
On 2 of the drow, you find a set of shackles that are securely fastened by a soft cloth that keeps it from making too much noise. The swords that they have are very vicious-looking weapons. They are not curved weapons like a scimitar, but they are assassin's weapons, if even. They are meant to impose and inflict pain before death. So the blade is not straight, but constantly curved, slithering, much like a snake.
All right.
The drow that seem to be giving the most issue, at least, what has a small spruce to their armor. You see bits and pieces of what almost look to be black ruby are embedded into the front end of their armor, and you just go over it. You can take those if you wanted to. They go for a fine price when you get back to Port Ivy. But
real quick.
You find yes.
Willis kind of looks at the rubies, and if I look at my notes, he takes out one of the silver rings with a black gem in them. Is it similar?
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
The black gem in it is very similar to this.
And you can also assume the other 5 necklaces with the black gems are probably the same.
Yeah,
Oh.
probably from the same thing that you see Pierre doing now. As he's the stein in one hand, he's actually going over the body, and you see he's just picking off little bits of jewelry. And you see it's little rings, a necklace, much like the one you find on the drow corpse in front of you, the one with the jewels embedded into it. Actually, pick off. There's about 3 silver rings. There's a necklace that hides what seems to be some sort of a talisman underneath it. It is a small talisman of what looks to be a humanoid spider. You can probably guess it's probably a holy item.
Oh god, I have a few of these things now. Shit.
Yeah, a couple.
And got 4 rings and now 7 necklaces. And just the bits of ruby itself.
A walking jewelry store.
Naturally. Seems like
Naturally,
this isn't the first time we've encountered, I guess, people that work with them. If we judge by the trinkets we have, it kind of just shows one of the old ruby or old black ruby rings that were taken from the goblins, if I remember what they were before.
You got that black ruby, or at least what seemed to have been a garnet at the time, a very deep, deep red garnet, but at this time it's black. No, these are definitely black rubies. Very rare, quite expensive. But other than that, not really. I mean, best you can remember, possibly from goblins or even a small tribe of gnolls, if I remember correctly. Because you guys did kill some of the gnolls to the south of the Emerald Valley.
All right. So let's see. All right. I just had to edit my numbers. After pocketing away the jewelry and other stuff, he actually goes and checks. What? Sorry. Be right back. But
Nope. I understand. Take care. So, the rest of you, you're going through this. Zoram, finding through on some of the bodies, even after Volus has gone through it. You find what seems to be in one of their pouches something familiar to you. It looks to be a small ingredient carrier. Looks to be an ingredient satchel for a wizard. This has the familiar marks of one of the wizarding colleges from the Ming, so this was probably stolen or looted off of a body. So you can mark that down if you wish.
Would that be like a component pouch or?
Yes, component pouch. But while Volus seems to be dealing with the minor details, you're going over more of the major ones.
Mm-hmm.
The armor wouldn't be worth too much. It's too elven-like, and while people haven't seen elves in quite some time, nobody wants drow armor, even used.
This is probably going to be a little weird, but does he see anything not necessarily valuable, but shiny?
I mean, these drow elves are much like their above ground cousins. So they do wear jewelry. So they do have a couple of earrings, and they do have what look to be a few studs that are embedded into the side of their chin. Most of it looks to be made out of silver.
Just gonna do a little personal roll here.
Do I steal it or do I don't? Well, you're already going to take the ears off anyway. Pierre told you guys to. Drow ears sell for a fucking mint down here.
He's going to try and carefully and without trying to rip them out. He's gonna try and take the jewelry and start like kind of almost pocketing it.
For that, make me a survival check, because that requires a bit more of an intricate skill work rather than just tearing it off.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're doing that, Niram, is there anything you'd like to do with some of the leftover drow bits, or are you just going to leave them alone and let everybody else handle it?
Unless the weapons are already taken, Niram's just going to take those.
Yeah, so you now have 3 drow short swords.
Mm-hmm. Is there... Also... Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
Do they carry any poison?
Poison? That's a very good question. On the 2 that you had to kill, or on the 2 that you faced, you did not see them using poison. However, on the 1 archer that Ryoka managed to kill, you do find a small vial of what looks to be a very sticky greenish poison.
Very, very good. Niram is going to take that as well.
Yeah, and you go over, just as Ryoka is sawing both of the ears off with one of her daggers, you just go over and, excuse me, you just get around her.
Sorry, just
pull the poison out and get around her.
It's going to do nicely.
The poison, just in case you would like to know, is the same stuff that was being used on you guys. It is a con save of 13.
Mm-hmm.
And if failed, it essentially makes them blind. Or it actually makes them it blinds them and makes them unconscious. Or initially starts making them unconscious.
This is concerning coming from the person who is the chef.
Oh my god, come on, as if I cook anytime.
You try.
Mm-hmm.
You should just get better at cooking, Maybe you could become a culinary artist, instead of
Don't worry, this is not meant to be used for consumption unless you like to eat serrated greatswords for breakfast.
I have the poison here in front of me. It's known as Lothran poison, just because what the drow normally use. It's made from refined spider venom. A DC 13 Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned for 1 hour. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the target is also unconscious while poisoned in this way.
Ooh.
But they have to fail by 5 or more, okay?
Yep.
Understood. Awesome. So, but that is the poison you managed to snake off one of the drow archers. Or technically it'd be more of an arbalist, but semantics.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much for the information.
Certainly.
The short swords work like normal short swords in terms of damage calc?
Yes. They.
Okay.
In terms of damage calc, they do 1d6 plus dex. However, since these are drow weapons, they do an additional 1d4 of damage, but that's just because of the pain it inflicts.
Okay.
So it's quote-unquote homebrewed bleed damage, but it's more of just damage. So you can mark it down as force if you want to.
Yep.
So just to kind of let you know, that was a 19 for survival. I just didn't want to interrupt.
Okay. Nope, you're good. No, with ease, you actually managed to saw around the very gentle bits of ear cartilage and actually pull out these very intricate-looking earrings along with these small studs of silver as you saw off a portion of the cheek.
And he's gonna.
As that's going on, and you guys are all dealing with all of the silver, and you're stealing all of the silver, and then Pierre comes over. It seems we have different priorities. Goes over, and he actually takes the ears off of the drow while you're dealing with all the silver. You go for what glitters, I go for what bleeds. And he goes over and stuffs the ears in a small pouch.
He kind of just like looks at the He kind of looks at the silver, and looks at Pierre, and looks at the silver, and he's like, almost like he didn't even realize he was doing this.
There is no shame in getting that of which glitters. It is natural instinct. Do not worry. Besides, we have a map to follow. And he drinks more and starts walking off.
He nods and he just kind of puts the silver away, kind of into his pocket.
Nerem just
Clyde is...
Sorry.
No, continue, please. Continue.
Nerem just kind of looks at Valis for a second and whispers in Draconic, "Do you think he accidentally swallowed a map? Like in a drunken stupor?"
Yeah, I guess. Good.
You know it's fucked, but so your guess is as good as mine at the moment. So, as you guys step off, Clyde, Rowan, and Ryoka kind of stick towards the back. Ryoka is keeping an eye over her shoulder, and so is Rowan. They really don't seem to have appreciated or enjoyed the idea of being flanked twice.
Yeah,
As Pierre stumbles forward, Clyde comes forward and just does some general healing on him. And Pierre looks a little bit better and cleans some of the blood off of his face. Marching for what appears, or at least feels like, about 3 or 4 more hours. You guys actually see light ahead. Pierre doesn't seem worried about it, but it does kind of heighten you a little bit. Like, why the fuck is there light down here when we weren't told about it? But passing through, you finally round a small bend in the tunnel, and you look down and see what seems to be a small outpost. A small group of men, and looks to be 2 or 3 women, are currently sitting in front of some sort of a carved out little structure. Wearing heavy leathers, and some of them actually wearing chainmail. These guys look like guards. But most of them are currently busy playing a game of dice, while 2 of the others are currently keeping an eye out. A soft smell of stew is coming out from where they are. You guys notice that this is essentially an outpost for the guards. They are here to make sure that not too much happens, and if something big is going down, one of them goes and notifies the other kingdom down the road. That's what you can guesstimate, at least.
Okay.
Pierre waddles up to them, and he speaks in their native language. The brigadieros look back. They make a soft face like they know Pierre. And they're just wondering why the hell he's stuck with a group as ragged as you guys. But that's the feeling you get from how they speak. Eventually Pierre waddles his way back. We will be able to stay here for tonight. Get some sleep as much as you can. We will need it for the rest of the trek.
Right. And I guess we make our way into the outpost.
The outpost really isn't too much to look at. Essentially, after coming in from the tunnels, it more or less resembles a small stone tavern. You have a bar off to the side. Because my stuff doesn't say it. But it actually feels much more like a tavern rather than a guard's outpost. It's a relatively quaint little establishment, but you guys can definitely see that instead of rooms, there are a couple of cots. And depending upon how much you pay, there's a better cot. And the bar looks to be stocked with a couple of kegs of unidentifiable liquid, but doesn't really seem to matter. It smells like there's some stew being brewed, and it also looks like there's fermented liquor to be had.
Okay.
But that's essentially the outline of what I can show you.
Right. Willis, you're the better talker here, so I'll let you do the talking.
Okay.
I'll let you do any talking here, because I don't think I should.
How come?
Reasons?
Alright, then keep your secret.
I will.
Barkeep is a rather jovial-looking big man. He smiles, seeing all of you. I haven't seen customers in a while. It seems like traffic's slow. So what can I get you?
Well, I think the best thing is at least some rooms to accommodate me and my friends here.
Well, the only people here who get rooms are the guards. So you'll have to settle with what you see behind you. Which are essentially a couple of large cots with heavy furs that are laden upon them.
Alright.
But it'll keep you sleeping slowly.
Alright. What do you have on tap, or at least for food?
Well, I have ale and I have ale. If you want food, I have stew, or you can go hungry.
I guess we'll each take a pint of ale and some stew then. He kind of just looks back at the party, see if they want it or not.
Clyde puts his hand up. Do you have a glass of water or milk? Barkeep just squints and raises an eyebrow. What?
He's not much of a drinker.
We have some water down here I might be able to scrounge up, but it'll cost you extra. Clyde nods. That's okay with me. Thank you. After Pierre has finished with the small card game and the dice that are being thrown out front, he stumbles in. The bartender recognizes him, raises a hand. Pierre raises his stein and shakes it once again. Barkeep takes it and fills it for him.
Is it normal for someone to be able to drink this much? Never really.
Pierre is one of my best customers. You have something to say about him?
Oh, no. It's just kind of. I personally have never drunk a lot before, so I've not been really experienced in knowing alcohol tolerances.
Well, some say, Pierre, you don't mind if I tell this story, do you? Oh, please, tell the story away. I do not care. Just let me drink in peace. Well, old Pierre here. Word around is that the dwarves went and cursed his liver. That the only way he can die is if he dies when his liver does. So, he drinks. Hasn't died yet, so I think the dwarves got it wrong.
Why does that not surprise me?
There anything else I can do for you?
I'm sorry, just stepping out of the game here. That caught me off guard. Just wow. Is it? Are we able to just grab a cut, or is there a gold cost related to that?
If you're willing to pay me in gold for a shitty old cot like that, I'll happily take it.
Is there a cost to it? Like, is what I'm asking.
Well, since you seem to be getting by on Pierre, and he looks like shit, I'll take it you guys found some trouble out there, either bandits or something else.
Something else, I would say.
Pierre nods. Fucking slavers. Sorry to hear about your loss. And Pierre shakes his head. I will pay with this. And he puts the ear on the table. Barkeep looks down and... Are you sure? Are you going to take it, or am I going to take it back? I'll keep it, thank you very much. That is what I thought. Well, it seems, old Pierre here is paid your due. So you can take one of the cuts if you'd like. Don't worry about the food or not. This will cover everything.
His arm's going to actually go over to one of the beds, or cots, and he's going to lay on it, but he's going to curl around one of his bags, just kind of holding it tight and curl around it.
Okay. So, throughout the night, with quotation marks, as best as you can tell as it being night, there isn't too much down here to gather time, except you do see every once in a while the guards do seem to switch out. You see some of them stand up from being outside and they'll step by and they'll go back into one of the carved out rooms, which are actually just back here behind the tavern. And go ahead and mark the door instead of marking. But the room is over there, back off to the right, kind of like where the cots are. But other than that, no, it's it's a quiet night. Some of the guards do get a bit rowdy because they're talking to each other, and most of the time they're just playing games. But you do see every once in a while that some of the guards do engage in other activities. You'll hear swords going off against each other, or you'll hear the unmusical clang and whack of a hammer hitting something. But other than that, it's a calm night.
Nice. Ooh. Oh,
Hello?
Hi.
Perfect. All right. Sorry. My Discord cut out for a moment. Apologies. So, as you wake up the next morning, you guys are once again fed a little bit of stew before you head out. And you see as the barkeep is currently just throwing a couple more ingredients. You see he's throwing in what seems to be some sort of a pretty much large piece of what looks to be fattened beef. And he just puts that into the stew, and you see it start boiling around. And just starts adding a couple of ingredients, and once again, you see as it's refilled and repotted.
I mean, that's how some stew is done.
Yeah, that's how his stew is done.
Are we ready to head out?
Pierre's already by the doorway.
Zorn will kind of stand there with him, waiting for the rest of the group.
Clyde will follow behind you. Rowan's a bit of a heavy sleeper, so it's going to take a little bit of convincing to get him up. But Ryoka has no issue just flicking him right in between the eyes. Fuck! What's that for? You were asleep. Yes, comfortably. That's the point.
To keep moving.
Narum just steps into the doorway and goes, "Do I need to drag you both along?"
Ryoka shrugs. Hey, I woke him up. You don't need to deal with me. Okay?
Just glance over to Rowan. Do you need the manacles again? Hey?
Rowan looks down at the cot and the furs, and it looks like he's ready to just pull them up and cocoon himself once again. But he sighs and throws the blankets off, lazily gets dressed as slowly as possible, and then groans as he walks like an old man to the front door.
Do you need a walking stick at this point? Oh, coot.
Grumbles something in Elvish.
Man, I didn't know that elves aged so quickly.
Wait a sec. I need to check my languages.
I need to check my languages. I need to know if I heard.
Yeah, like actually, I do speak Elvish. Rowan, not Rowan. Freaking Narum speaks Draconic, Common, Orc, and Elvish, so you would have understood.
Rowan does not know you speak Elvish, so as he goes by, you hear him say, "Fucking lizard."
Just with a low voice, just that's so in Elvish.
You call the Dragonborn a lizard?
That's so, eh?
Rowan stops for a moment, looks over at you, and he responds in Elvish. I know what I said, and continues walking.
Like, you'd expect Zoram to speak Elvish, but Nairm's the one who speaks Elvish.
Yeah, Narum actually picked up Elvish because, you know, he worked as a guard for a while. And over the time, he picked up a bit of the language. Like, he's not quite, like, he can hold simple conversations. He's, like, super well learned, but it's enough to get around.
Either way.
So. But, however, with that, Volus, are you back?
Yes, I've been here.
Ah, wonderful. Anything to say? Or just moving on?
Nope, nothing to say at all. He just looks at them and just shakes his head.
Understood. Well, continuing forward. As Pierre once again stumbles through these underground tunnels, he stops at an intersection, looks left and right, shakes his tankard, drinks a little bit more, and then heads to the left.
Well, guess we're heading left.
All right. Let's see. Don't fail me now, encounter chart.
Congratulations, you guys meet a Gorgon.
Just have you roll that. You guys are rolling by as you are strolling through the underground passages. You actually come across what seems to be a small group of what look to be jesters. Pierre gives them a very wide berth.
Of jesters?
Yep. If you've ever seen or played Darkest Dungeon, they look like the jester from that.
I have not. I'll have to look that up.
They look jovial and clown-like. However, their feet, the little padded, almost pajama-like silks that they wear, have many bells and whistles that dangle from them. They make a lot of noise when they travel.
Okay, yeah,
But
I see what you mean.
But you also see they are armed. You see short swords, bows, a couple of arrows, and one of them even has what looks to be a very long javelin spear. But Pierre gives them a very wide berth.
I guess Zorn will do the same, just kind of follow Pierre's lead, considering he probably knows more about this area than any of us would.
As you try and give them a berth, the jesters actually, you see as one of them takes a scroll out and unrolls it. And you see that the writing is in common, a very court-ordered common. Like it's, if you've ever seen Old English, like the way the Magna Carta was written, that's the way it's written.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Joustin's traveling troupe of gypsies and troubadours. Would you care for a show? And Rowan actually kind of looks interested.
Is this a normal thing here, Pierre?
They show you a good time. Do not expect to have your coin by the end of it. Jesters give him an almost overt, mime-sized reaction as all of them look in almost horror and shock and disbelief as he says that. But they once again look back at you with the extended scroll.
He's kind of like looking at them and kind of also trying to gauge like what his party's thinking about this, because it's like, how do you even respond to this?
It's a troupe of traveling clowns that have what are pretty much porcelain masks over their face. They're very creepy to look at, but their dress is very funny. It draws out a smile.
It does. The thought of it is just making me think of the Manic, the Harlot, for some reason. Even though you're mentioning that from Darkest Dungeon, but
I'm saying the dress that they're wearing is like that of the jester from Darkest Dungeon. The mask is different. The mask is almost a porcelain white.
I will be right back. I'm just getting called
Do
away
what you
for
need.
a quick moment.
Go do what you need.
Well, I wouldn't mind if we saw this if we came back. But we're kind. pressed on time. Don't you think?
You see as the jesters hang their heads in sorrow.
Well, what does the others say? By the looks of it, Rowan seems not to mind to stay, so it's 1-1.
Narum just kind of leans near Valis and just in Draconic goes, I don't know. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. No, not ever.
You see him raise a brow. Clyde, what's your thoughts?
As long as we can see them on the way back.
Okay. I guess now we must see what Zoram has to say about.
Zoram looks apprehensive. He doesn't really wish to continue going through with. I mean, it's just odd to look at these people, things, whatever they are. But whatever it is, it's just eerie. The way they look at you and the way they kind of twist and turn and the way their subtle movements just both almost offend the eye and both attract it. It's very odd.
Mm. Yeah, it looks. You say they take your coin, but what do you mean by that? They're expensive? But you at least watch a performance?
Pierre shakes his head. No, they are thieves. Did you not see within the confines of their message? It says they are gypsies and troubadours. Well, they are good in the performance. Do not trust them around your coin.
Fair enough.
Clyde sighs very gently, but he understands. Ryoka really doesn't seem to want to see these guys. She just seems disturbed by jesters and clowns. Rowan couldn't care. If he wanted to see him, he wanted to see him. If not, he doesn't. So,
I guess we don't have to pass up this offer then. Seeing that most are in disagreement.
it seems like you have a agreed notion that you can see them on the way back. But if you want to stop and watch the show, you can, but you guys are on a bit of a deadline. But hey, what's a few minutes here and there watching a show of Troubadour?
It can mean many things that it would be concerning.
Concerning? Why would they be concerned? It's just a group of traveling troubadours and gypsies. There's nothing wrong with that.
I do not trust gypsies myself. Very.
Okay.
My gut feeling is saying no.
Pierre just shrugs and keeps moving. Soon enough, Zoram does as well, followed by Clyde. And then Ryoka as well, holding up the rear.
Oh, boy.
So, continuing on after leaving those jesters behind, when they continue walking, you hear the jingling of their bells and the whistles from their uniform. And it's almost eerie to listen to them now that you can't even see them. Every once in a while, you'll turn around and look behind you and see them just off in the distance. But it's just weird to see jesters, especially in this type of environment, with the type of people that are around here. Quietly and challantly, you should say, you continue traveling. It's a quiet thing.
Mm.
You pass by another one of the small guards posts. And the guards greet you. They greet Pierre, and Pierre just nods his head, greets them. But it seems quiet. Very quiet. The guards are even quiet around here.
Came back.
Understood.
Oh,
You guys passed by the jesters. The jesters were a bit upset by having been left behind, but on the urge of Pierre and the idea that you guys do have something better to be getting to, you leave them alone. You pass by another one of these guard posts, and the guards are quiet. They don't even seem to be playing cards or dice, just sitting there and watching. They greet Pierre and greet you as well. But it's just a somber thing. It's almost... There's something weird about it.
I guess someone's just gonna keep an eye out just in case.
Okay, make me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 25.
Really isn't too much out here. It is you, the stone tunnels, and nothing else. Every once in a while, you will see a small crevice or a crack that you could swear to anything else that there was an eye staring at you through it. But it's quiet.
Yeah, it's just kind of like just to keep make sure that they don't get sneaked up on as they're walking. Yeah, that's probably all I'm gonna do for now. Just kind of keeping an eye out.
All right. Well, it is uneventful through your travels. But you do notice that as you travel further on through the day, roughly about maybe 2-3 more hours, you guys are starting to get tired once again, but you notice that the walls are starting to become more icy than they are stone. A thin sheen of almost glass-like clearness, as you can only see or notice as you put a hand against the wall. Notice it is a bitter cold.
Not my preferred temperature.
Not to anybody's preferred temperature. If you are, that means you are made of ice.
I can think of a few things, but
As the halls of ice are passing through,
Remember, no shiny rocks.
Oh my god.
Someone had to say it.
yeah, someone did. I mean, just because. But along with that, every once in a while there seems to actually be small divots and bigger crevices, wide enough for someone to squeeze through if they were to turn sideways. And it looks like there has been travel through there, through these openings. You see bits and pockmarks of scratches and long drag marks. Something has been through there. It looks small, humanoid, but you're not sure.
Odd. It's a little strange, but probably shouldn't really look into that too much. Otherwise, that's just asking for trouble.
Is it? What's a little exploration? Live a little.
Would he be able to kind of look at it for a moment without getting separated from the group, or?
Without getting separated, I'd say, yeah, there's definitely a distinct possibility of being able to do that.
All right, he'll kind of just take a quick gander at it to just see what it is, but like try and not take very long to just so that way he doesn't get separated from the group.
Okay. In checking out what's going on through here, you try and peer, but these tunnels aren't exactly carved very well. They look more natural than anything. Checking through, seeing what you can try and see. There isn't too much in here, but as you listen, you hear what sounds like a soft breathing of wind. It sounds like air, or at least open air, is reaching these tunnels somehow. And the air is humid. Not cold. Humid.
He's going to back up a little bit because that ain't right. That doesn't seem right.
Well, you could always explore.
Hey Pierre, is there any heat vents or that kind of go through this area?
There are people who come by through and through. Yes. They do not always follow the usual, one would say, routes.
But is it like normal for it to be having humid air coming through carved out areas?
The less you pay attention to down here, the happier you will be. If it bothers you, then you should probably leave it alone.
Right. Probably good to probably follow the tour, the person who's been here the longest, to follow their advice. So he's going to leave it alone, but he's going to keep an eye on it just in case.
Okay. Keeping an eye to these little ventures, or sorry, fissures, one would say. These fissures. As you pass by them, they're a solid distance, maybe about 50 or so feet. You turn about and cast a curious glance. And you see something that looks to be a small blue lizard, roughly about the size of a large greyhound, that just seems to crawl out from one of those little fissures. And you see its head slowly peer around. And it looks back at you with two large, black lizard-like eyes. And its tongue slips out like that of a snake and then fizzes back into its head.
Yeah, nope, 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 nope.
Sometimes it's best if you just leave something alone. So, as you pass by these supposed lizard nests, don't give it too much of an extra thought. As the ice slowly gives back to a way of stone, you notice that possibly that's what was causing the area around to become such an interesting place to be. Perhaps it had something to do with the creatures inhabiting it, or a magic imposed upon the area, either of which you are unsure.
Um, yeah. Um. How is like the rest of the party kind of holding up? Because we've been kind of going for a while.
Seem to be doing okay. They haven't fallen behind. But most of them are just, they look wary. Like, you guys have been traveling underground for quite some time. You're not even sure what time of day it is. And it's really starting to screw with you. Because what it feels like is you guys have been down here for days on end. You're not even sure quite what time or what there is to think about. There's just stone, and you swear by whatever it is you put faith in. But there are eyes watching you. Some of them just popping up in little crevices, just seeing where you are, seeing what you are. Just something disturbing about it. And it's starting to crawl under your skin.
Zorm's just gonna try and keep walking, trying to follow the advice of the guide.
Okay. Eventually, you guys stop, and the air is becoming humid again. And Pierre has stopped you. We can either camp here for tonight, or we can go through and camp on the other side. But we will not be camping inside.
Any particular reason?
It is better if you do not know. As I have said, less to worry about.
Right. I'm okay with camping here, but that's kind of not just my decision.
He looks over to the rest of you. And what say you?
Ventus, Volus, Nero.
I think they're having communications issues.
Hi. Okay, there we go.
Hello.
I do not mind if we continue going or not, but keep it like it's all like
Sorry, you cut out for the second part there.
He doesn't mind if you keep going, but if you guys want to stop, he doesn't mind that either.
Okay, well, no, I'm just gonna say, well, to be honest, I'd like to continue moving, but if you all need a rest, we'll just want to take a break. Go for it, I guess.
Pierre shrugs.
Rested for whatever is on the inside of this, I guess.
We are stopping here because the air is a bit too floral. And as he says so, that's kind of what you notice. There's a soft scent to the air, and you notice what there seems to be is almost a smell of moss that hangs along the air. So, what would you guys like to do? Do you want to try and see what's up ahead? Or are you going to leave it alone?
Probably best if we, from what I understand, it's probably best to rest and then have it that we go through it when we're all rested and not like tired.
Well, it's not that you have to go through. I'm asking if you want to try and scout ahead before going through.
I guess we could. He would kind of just ask Pierre if that would be something that is wise to do.
If you wish to scout ahead, scout ahead. Do not disturb the spores.
Right. Arn will, Zorm will scout ahead and take a look at what they're dealing with.
Who's going with him? Or is Zorm going ahead alone? Going once. All right, Rowan will go with you. Rowan and Clyde will go with you. Just for the sake of civility.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan really doesn't want to do it, but hell, color him interested. Something that has to be growing under here seems to catch at least enough of his interest.
He'll take a look at what they're dealing with up ahead before kind of solidifying the decision to camp or not.
Okay. So you advance forward along with Rowan and Clyde. The air is certainly getting humid. There's a tinge of cold to it, but it's quiet. As you step through, it's almost about maybe another 120 or so feet before you finally make it. I believe that would be 35 meters, I think. It's about 35 meters.
Give or take.
But it's a distance ahead, and just as you curve around and look through, there is a small passageway you can take that seems to circumvent the area around. But it looks dark, and it looks sinister. There might be something in there. But the tunnel ahead opens up into a cavern. Allow me to kind of demonstrate what the passageway looks like leading up to it. So the passageway itself comes up and around and bends across until it opens up into almost a two-way path. You have one that leads almost off to the side and one that leads into the cavern. You see what I mean? Kind of?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit at least?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm not streaming here. Allow me to stream.
No, I can see it on Behemoth's
wonderful,
stream.
that's right. Wonderful, that's what it's used for. See? Effort. All right. But opening up, this is essentially what you see. You have two passageways. You can either try and skirt around it, or you can go through it. Before you do that, though, you notice that on the outside there are growths of moss and what looks to be some sort of a large fungus that are growing along the sides of this tunnel. And it is given off a soft grayish green hue. It looks almost like a spinach green, but it definitely doesn't look like something you want to go out of your way to touch. Especially not with the spores.
Would I recognize this plant? Or have read anything?
Make me a nature check on that. And I'll say Clyde will give you guidance or inspiration. And Rowan, he'll cast guidance on you so you can add a D8 and a D4.
Okay, so second here. That is a 26.
26. You actually have a small idea as to what this is. You've seen fungus like this before and you've studied it, though not this type exactly. It grows off in underground structures, much like this. However, whatever plants it or whatever seems to spark its growth is a bit more vile than most other plants. This stuff spreads, but it creates an ecosystem and an atmosphere around it, one suitable to only one really known-ish type of creature, and they're known as living spores, also known as a myconid. But it does give off a very sweet scent. It almost smells of peaches mixed with honey and a little bit of, you could swear there's a soft hint of sugar as well. It's very sweet.
And it doesn't seem like there's any moss growing down the other way.
No. But as you're trying to think about this, Rowan kind of pokes you in the side. So, what's going on, if I might ask?
So
You're the smart one. Don't say just explain it.
This plant is not really something we... Would he know if this plant is like a deadly plant?
Is a deadly plant? It is poisonous, so could be deadly that way. But aside from that, can't really think too much of what might be going on. Could be deadly, could be dangerous, but most of what you know about this is that the small spores that you see, if you touch them or if you seem to cause any disturbance, they will start moving and such. Much like a living spore would, and it would move away or try and stop whatever it is that is bothering it.
Right. How to explain this in layman's terms? Basically, the plant will start moving and try to stop anything that disturbs it. It is kind of poisonous, so best not to mess with it at all.
And steps around and points to the open mouth of the other tunnel. Then why don't we go around?
Is this moss does this moss seem to glow?
No, it does not.
Okay. Do you see any of the moss in there? Because Zorm doesn't have dark vision.
Well, that actually seems to be the issue. Is that the more you look into it, there's a soft light coming into it. That is what's allowing you to see. And it seems like that it is just bright enough that it almost seems like daylight. Like something inside the chamber is either producing or reflecting a small amount of daylight within this cavern that is allowing this stuff to grow. Though it is dim, so it could be possibly moonlight, you're not sure, but it is lit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you do not. The reason I'm explaining this all to you is you do not need dark vision to see it. I apologize for not explaining that sooner.
Yep. Um, he'll start making his way to check the other cave just to be safe. Not the cavern, but like just the other pathway.
Okay. As you go over and check the tunnel, make me a general investigation check just as you're checking the tunnel out, checking to see what's in it or what you can possibly find. As this tunnel is definitely dark.
Investigation. 21.
Whatever it is, there is a thin coat of mucus or slime that decorates in splotches around bits and pieces of the secondary tunnel. It's almost like a soft film that covers the inside of the tunnel. And the more you look at it, you also notice that these walls are a bit more smooth than a natural cave might be.
Right. Would he know of anything in regards to this?
No.
Okay. He'll kind of go back and go to Rowan and Clyde and say, I think it's best if we return to the group and just kind of say what we found. Maybe Pierre will have a little bit of insight on what is going on here.
Sure. You march your way back there.
Rule number one when traveling, always talk to the locals because they know the land better than you will ever.
You talk to Pierre, who will greet you once again. So have you completed your scouting, yeah?
For the most part, we encountered the moss. It seems to grow in light. Is there like a entrance through that cavern up ahead?
Pierre would shrug. I know many things, but of other things I am unknowing. I know that there are things ahead that I do not wish to deal with right now. So, we camp here, or we camp on the other side. But I will not sleep with them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you wish to, in which case I will sleep here, and you may sleep inside.
Yeah, nah, we're good. I think probably resting here for now. Because I don't think we would want to split up at all.
Pierre would shrug. Very well. Then we shall stay here for tonight.
Up ahead, though, there was a second path, and it's covered in mucus and very smooth. Is there a
Any
creature
other
that...
reason we should not go down it. If it has mucus, especially here, that means it is not cold enough to be dealt with.
So we would have to then go through the spore cavern.
If you wish. Unless you wish to go through the slime tunnel. I would not recommend, but we can do it if you want.
I'm going to follow your judgment on this. Since you are more familiar with these parts than any of us would be.
He shrugs. I am not familiar. I just have a map.
Hey, Zorim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, like, this is purely hypothesis? I don't know if this is correct, but so you know how spores have a tendency to like float in the air sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think these are poisonous by chance?
Oh, these are definitely this is definitely a poisonous moss.
Do you think we should, like, I don't know, cover up our faces a bit?
I would recommend it.
Right? And Nerem just like takes out.
That can happen when we go through, when we're getting ready to go through.
Well, yeah, but might as well prepare, right? He's just gonna grab one of his spare shirts, start ripping it up into like pieces of fabric. He starts taking. He's just basically trying to fashion masks out of an old shirt. I mean, there's plenty of fabric to work with.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a general just survival check.
All right. Oh, that's surprisingly good. I'm happy about that one. That's a 22. 19 plus 3.
Yeah, you go right ahead and make a couple of masks outside of your newfangled area of expertise of poisonous shrooms and wondering why the air might possibly cause an issue.
I mean, it's kind of common sense, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Growing up in rural areas, you'd be bound to come across a poisonous mushroom once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe seeing something like spores.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just simply saying it's like, hey, was a good thought.
He's gonna start passing them out while we're on the way in.
All right.
The shoddiest
Well,
one
are you
goes to
guys
road.
continuing in today, or are you going to leave that for tomorrow and get some rest? Because you guys have been traveling for quite some time.
I think a rest would be warranted.
Yeah, rest for now, and then go through after.
Okay.
You know what? Sure. Sounds like a good idea.
All right. Rowan and Clyde will take first watch. Who will take second?
Zorn will.
And Nerem will assist on that.
Nothing comes into view or disturbs the watch for Rowan and or for Clyde. So it's relatively peaceful. So they go up and shake yourselves awake, causing yourselves to, well, it's not fun to be awoken for a watch, but you are awoken for it and grumble a little bit. As you're stirring and shaken up, you head yourselves out, once again keeping an eye over the camp. You go ahead and make me perception checks.
I rolled a 25.
I rolled a 15.
13.
Oh. Wait,
13.
are we
So
just
apparently all three of you are keeping watch.
are we just all staying up? Okay.
Never mind. Then I'll just take the next.
Rowan and Clyde are very quickly asleep, and so, as is Ryoka. However, Volus, in a moment of lapse in judgment, he shoots up awake out of his small sleeping roll, and he looks around, doesn't see anything, and falls back to sleep, leaving you two alone on watch. But Niram, what did you get?
I got a 15.
All right. So, through the watch, Niram, you spend most of your time just keeping an eye on to the rear. Most of it seems odd. I mean, you're not an underground dragonborn or person by any means. And it's still just weird to yourself for doing something like this and just staying underground for this long, not seeing the sun, the wind, anything. However, Zoram, is you're keeping an eye to it. The cave ahead of you, leading toward, or at least the cave system ahead of you, leading into what seems to have been the area of spores. You see what looks to be a small humanoid figure, roughly about the size of a halfling, with a small, flat-capped head that looks to just be peering around the corner and looking at you. You can't see any eyes, but it looks to be divots within the many honeycomb structure of what seems to be underneath this cap.
Zorm is kind of just watching them. They don't seem like they're doing anything, right?
They look like they're watching you.
Just watching. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of watching back at him.
You're watching me? Fine, I'll watch you back harder. In doing so, it is a rather weird experience, just staring at something that you're trying to find the eyes and you can't. The many just honeycombed structures beneath it is decorated and dotted, much like that of an underside of a mushroom. The body itself is lithe and small, decorated in small bits and pieces of moss itself, as the whole body seems to, especially with the small firelight coming from the camp, seems to be decorated in both moss and what seems to be some sort of you could only think of it as a mushroom-like flesh, you think? You don't know. Eventually, near him, you pick up on Zoram just standing there staring at something.
What are you looking at?
Someone's watching us.
Want me to wake up Rowan? They could at least put on a show.
I don't know if I would want that.
How considerate.
Yeah, I'm considerate of Clyde.
Because chances are Rowan will wake up everyone.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Remember, his thing is a harmonica. It's not the bagpipes anymore because those were destroyed.
Didn't he have a second set?
Yes, he did, but he doesn't exactly have access to them right now.
Right, yeah.
If I remember correctly, you stole them from him. Or, sorry, forcefully took them.
Forcefully removed them. Yeah,
Yes.
with good reason. That reason being everyone's nerves.
Yeah, so, reason enough.
I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them just to make sure that they don't do anything.
Well, they It really doesn't seem like they're doing much. It's just standing there.
By the way,
menacingly.
He's standing there, menacingly.
Oh my god!
Menacingly.
Because it's just you've never seen something like this.
It's kind of odd to see something like that. Nehrim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you happen to have any? Actually, you know what? No, never mind. I'll sort this out at another time. It's probably better if I sort this out another time. Not the time to sort this sort of thing out.
Okay.
It is merely just about weaponry. Try to find something that is more suitable for me.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, probably a good idea to talk about that when we're like near a settlement, or we can find shit. Though, I have these swords on me. Just like pulls up the drow short swords. I just kind of grabbed them. I don't know why. Something compelled me.
You know what? I don't blame you. I kind of do the same thing with other things.
Just puts them away like, huh, so I'm not the only one.
Do you want to kind of watch while I kind of just see if I can get a closer look at this person, see what's their deal, or
Okay, sure. Don't mind me. Just kind of grabs the scabbard of his greatsword and pulls it a tad closer. Like, not actively holding his hand on it as to not signify any threat, but like, keeping it closer, just in case.
Okay. Go ahead and grab your greatsword closer.
Okay, I'll try and not get too close just in case. Zorm is going to just carefully approach just to see if they can get a better look at this person.
Getting a better look at this person, from what you can tell, they quite literally look like a mushroom man. A small, squat mushroom in the shape of a halfling.
What in the fuck?
Something is odd about this creature, whatever it is.
I haven't heard of or read or seen anything about these things or anything like this, I'm assuming.
Nothing.
What in the... I'm gonna kind of move to see if it has like a gaze that follows me or not.
That's the thing. You do not see its eyes, so you don't know.
But it's more like seeing if it has like a visible reaction to my movement.
Okay, make me a perception check, and I will say Niram you as well.
Okay.
I never thought the day that Niram and would have to deal with mushroom people.
That is a 19.
Okay.
And a 16 for me.
Well, they look like they'd go good in a stew.
Oh, great. Yeah, let me cut up a mic in it just to chuck them in stew. Totally not insensitive.
Nope.
Mushroom stew, mushroom
But
stew.
as you are stepping around the side of it, its head does not follow you. It seems like whatever you step, that little honeycombed like fixture along the underside of its capped head is just constantly in your view.
Okay. Zorm will head back to Narum, kind of just backing up, kind of not wanting to turn his back to this thing.
Untrusting of a mic, and how dare you?
It's like meeting a stranger for the first time. You don't just simply turn your back to a stranger.
One does not simply turn your back to a stranger.
Adam just kind of looks at the mic and it just, interesting.
I have never seen a creature like that.
Yeah, me neither. But, they don't seem immediately hostile, so... Yeah.
It doesn't seem to even really look or really react to my movements, so I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I'll just keep an eye on it while for the rest of watch, just to make sure.
Just
Alright.
keeping an eye out for what? Just staring at it for the rest of it?
No, just it more like constantly just
making sure it's still there.
Yeah. No, we're not pushing it over.
Do it. Do it.
Well, first thing he thinks, push it over. See how it works. Just watch it. Just scramble.
This is how you assert dominance. It's like cow tipping, but for vegans.
Cow tipping for vegans? You insensitive bastard.
I'm quoting that.
But no, it stays right there the entirety of watch. So, as morning rises, the rest of you stand there and awaken to see what looks to be a little mushroom staring at you.
Can I roll a nature check to see what type of mushroom it resembles?
It looks to be some sort of a little brown-capped mushroom.
Does it look poisonous?
Doesn't look poisonous, no.
Both is kind of just grabs a stick from his bag and just tries to poke it.
1 second, I'm being called.
He just pokes it. See what
Okay.
happens.
So you go over. It's a very soft belly, so you poke it, and it kind of it sinks in almost like a memory foam pillow, and then slowly pushes back out.
What is this? It kind of just looks at Pierre, kind of expectantly if we ever encountered these things before.
No. You have never encountered one of these things before.
Oh, Pierre hasn't either?
Pierre? No, Pierre has experienced these before.
I know. He's looking to Pierre, asking like if he knows what this is.
All right, sorry. That did not translate through apologies. I didn't hear that.
It's fine.
Why are you touching it? Touching it! I told you not to disturb them. And here you are bothering it.
Well, what is it?
It is a shroom.
Is
Leave
it?
it alone. And its bigger brothers will not deal with us.
Okay. Kind of just puts the stick back in his bag. Kind of just looks at the shroom. Is it common around here for mushrooms to just walk around?
Perhaps in some areas, yes.
Are they usually aggressive? Or at
Not unless
least
you school at them.
Mm-hmm. So what's the mushroom doing?
Just standing there. Just watching.
He shall be called Phil.
Okay. As you now have a myconid named Phil just standing there before you. You guys gonna skirt around him as Pierre does the same. He just maneuvers around.
Um, What are the others doing?
I don't know. What are the others doing?
Well, is Rowan going around? It is.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, normally following Pierre is the best thing they can do.
Hmm.
So Rowan goes around. Ryoka, Clyde. I mean, seems to at least be following around. The best idea that can be heard is to follow what Pierre says.
Hmm.
It seems to help.
Zoram, Nerim, are you two ready to go?
Sure.
Alright, I guess he just waves the I guess he just waves at Phil before no, he's just gonna leave like a
You
piece of
wave at Phil.
he's just gonna leave like a little piece of bread on the floor and then just follow along.
You leave a small piece of bread, and you watch as a little tendril of shrooms kind of grows out from Phil's foot and grabs onto the piece of bread, and you watch the bread dissolve. And then you see the shrooms retreat back into Phil's foot.
Guess you learn something new every day.
So, getting through the instance of what's happening here, you guide around him. There's something off about it all, especially as you look down the tunnel to your right, seeing it covered in thin coats of slime.
The bill was covered in slime?
No.
No. Okay.
The passageway to the right, just before opening into the essentially botanical garden, is in here. I mean, this area here has slime covering the walls. It's almost like slime or mucus. You can't really tell, but it's just kind of smeared in goblets, or let's say globbets, around. And it's just unsettling.
And the other passageway is just normal.
No, other passageway has moss and shrooms growing on it.
And just looks up here and just looks between the two. Might be safe to say that the little mushroom might have came from this way, if I had to take out and guess. He just points to the moss and mushroom infested place.
Pierre would look back at you with a slightly raised eyebrow. And look down at his tankard and his stein. And look back up at you. And I thought I was the one with the map. And turn back around and start heading through the tunnel with the moss and shrooms growing on it. Stepping through this tunnel, it extends almost about 30 feet, so about, say, 12 meters, I think.
What did you ask, Grape?
No, I didn't ask. I said the tunnel is roughly longer than just about 30 feet, about 12 meters. And everything about it is odd. The further in you go, you keep finding denser and denser packed pieces of moss and mushroom growing bigger and thicker. Bits and pieces of the floor seem to have been removed of their ilk, so the floor is clean to walk over. And as you step into it, you notice the tunnel itself, or this cavern that opens up into, is illuminated. You look up and see that near the center of the room, held aloft by what seems to be a tendril of moss and growth around it, seems to be a small orb of ice. And there is a small beam of light that is hitting it and seems to be cascading light within the room, allowing all of this moss and such to grow with some sort of a light source.
Grape, can I investigate the moss to see and the mushrooms to see if they actually hold any use in alchemy? He's not gonna pick any, but he's just like,
make me a medicine check.
22.
A couple of these shrooms could be used in poisons, yes. Not very much use for healing or helpful alchemy, but yeah, there's a couple of these are pretty toxic. But due to Niram affixing some masks to you guys, don't really need to worry too much about it. So I won't have you guys roll con saves. But I will, however, have all of you go ahead and make me some dex checks.
Does danger sense activate? Like, can I see that coming?
No, this does not have to do with danger. This does not have to do with danger.
Okay.
This is just a dexterity check.
Wow. Okay. No, this might become dangerous.
Yeah, I roll really poorly for Clyde and Rowan.
You say that. Nerem got a natural 1.
Yeah, Clyde got a 2 and Rowan got a 3. So...
Got a 19.
Oh, well, look at you being all fine and fancy over there. And what did you get? Oh, I have to roll for him too, since he was pulled away. Zoram didn't roll too well either. Well, evidently. Oh, you're back. Hello? Nope, he's not back.
Hello?
He's gone.
He's gone from this earth.
But as you're stepping your way through it, near him, you feel something grab your foot, and you immediately kind of panic and bring your axe down on it.
Just smacks into it. Yeah. What even is it? He looks down.
And you bring it down, and you see it looks to be a really small little mic in it that just grabbed onto your foot. And it is now a very smashed little mic in it.
Oh no! Oh God! Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry. And just starts freaking hyperventilating.
Everybody looks behind as they hear your axe hitting what sounds like flesh and stone beneath it. Pierre's eyes are open, just completely bewildered as to why you would do something like that when he told you not to. Everybody else is currently staring back at what you've done, not knowing what's happened. And you're standing there with your axe half smeared in a little myconid.
Just panicking. Like absolutely losing his mind. Just, oh no. Oh no. Oh no, he literally just said we shouldn't do that. Oh no. Oh no.
You've killed Charles.
Oh no. Oh, Charles.
Sorry, that took a little longer than I anticipated.
It's all good. You just
might be screwed.
Yeah, you just missed a bit of reflexive myconid smashing.
Something grabbed Niram's foot and he brought his axe down on it. Turns out it was a really small little myconid.
Oh no.
But on that note, go ahead and end today there, as you can find yourself wallowing over what you've done and think about the problems you have just caused for the party.
You have angered
Thank
the
you.
village.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We are about to get mauled by a village of Myconites now.
We're gonna run into just a giant Myconid Megazord.
The dark harvest has begun.
I will say this, Zoram, I'm very disappointed you didn't put the full quote.
Oh my god.
You only added the freaking count.
All right, well, as we go ahead and end there for tonight, I will say I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll shift over to talk to some of the other people here. To hello, Twitch. Greetings and salutations. Also, goodbye at the same time. Very sad thing, but it's what happened.
Yeah, it's almost like we have a general length that we try to adhere to.
Yeah, a little bit. But at the utmost there, I hope you enjoyed. If there are anything that you guys would like to do, you can actually go ahead and check out what happens on the YouTube channel and see just how our party got here, believe it or not. It's an interesting little tale of deceit, intrigue, and stupidity.
Yeah, a whole bunch of shenanigans.
But we also have a Discord you guys can go to, that is Behemoth's Discord, that you can go ahead and pop onto to find out when we're going live or if we're not going live. Sometimes things do pop up and we are not able to host our usual sessions. But speaking of that, our usual sessions go about Saturday from 2 o'clock p.m. East or 8 o'clock p.m. European Standard.
Oh, come on.
European.
You might as well correct it to the actual times of like 2:30.
You mean 8 p.m. German Standard Time?
Well,
Understood.
yeah, no. It's 8 p.m. Well, we're starting at 8:30 p.m.
8:30.
Central European.
You know what? It doesn't hurt to be about 30 minutes off. Okay, you know what?
Oh, come on.
Maybe they can have time. Yeah.
That's when we're supposed to start, and it never starts at that time.
Bite me.
No, I'd rather not. Quite frankly.
Be still, my beating heart. Anyway, those of you who came by, I really hope you guys came by and found something you enjoyed. If not, I'm really sorry about that. But hey, we always try and do this to the best we can. We're here to have fun. If you liked what you saw and you had a little bit of fun along with us, go ahead and drop a follow. We'd be more than happy to have you back here. But I will go ahead and hand it off to Behemoth before I start begging.
Yeah.
So he can talk to you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, as Grape said, we're gonna have our sessions, if possible, at 2:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central European. And I am sorry that the last few weeks haven't really been we haven't been active, as Grape mentioned. We've had a lot of problems. We've had a hiatus because just a lot of people were unavailable. A lot of things happened, but yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some more sessions. I don't know how it's gonna turn out with the next week because that might just squarely fall onto frickin'. Oh Jesus! Oh boy! That's Christmas time. I just realized that might be a bit rough. So maybe in the new year. Not sure. Anyways, take care, y'all.